Hello. Welcome to episode 24 of the Top 2 Inches Rugby podcast, brought to you by iSpy Surveys, the go-to specialist survey and inspection company based in Exeter, Devon. If you haven't checked those guys out, please go and do so. They offer a fantastic service. So, what is going to be on this episode? Ollie will be along later on to talk about all things rugby, ranging from the Guinness Premiership to the latest round of the Six Nations, and what an epic weekend it was for certain countries. We will also check in on the ladies' game, and no doubt Ollie will bring some more, big-headedness to the discussion around our fantasy rugby. Let's just say it was not another good weekend for me. So, anyway, on with episode 24. Okay, so just before I have a little review of the women's game, Saracens were playing Jersey last weekend, and a bit of normality has been restored. They came away with a 45-13 victory. The reason I'm doing this without Ollie is because we've actually recorded our kind of segment and totally forgot about Sarries. I think we got a little bit excited about the Gallagher Premiership and obviously England's win, which you'll hear about in a minute. Some really good tries from Lewington. I can't say the name. Obatoy Bio. Anyway, he scored 2 tries. Taylor, Seagun and Jackson Ray. So yeah, Sarries are definitely back where they belong. Well, not where they belong, but certainly a much improved performance from that one against the Cornish Pirates the week before. There's only one game played in the Allianz Premier 15s this weekend, and that was a significant victory for Gloucester Hartpury women. They were playing a rearranged game with DMP Durham Sharks at home, and they had a 74-7 victory. Really nice to see that DMP weren't nilled this week, and hopefully that gives them a little bit of heart for the forthcoming games. And we'll report on next week's ladies' games in the next episode. Ollie, you're back again. How you doing, mate?
Hello, mate.
I think we've
cracked it.
We've nailed it.
We have cracked it.
We've put 50p in the meter, and the mouse is currently running around making sure that we can record our podcast.
The only thing is, don't ask us how we've cracked it, because I don't have the faintest idea what was wrong or how it's been resolved. But it's working, so...
Which is good news.
Yeah.
Anyway, how
Crack
are you,
on.
mate? You're on the road today, aren't you? Just finished your lunch?
I am, yeah, out working. Bit of caviar, close, mate. A bit of sushi for lunch today.
Oh, very nice.
Bit of sushi for lunch today, yeah.
Oh,
Temples and bodies and all that, mate.
I wouldn't know about that, mate. I've just got to... Yeah, I wouldn't know about that. So what's your current location? Are you sat somewhere enjoying the sun, or...?
No, unfortunately not, mate. I'm just in the works van on my lunch break before I come and join you on the pod again, mate, and then back to the grindstone again after that.
Oh, fantastic. But it's good.
What about yourself?
I'm obviously working, mate. So, working hard, saving lives. It's good that you're self-employed, obviously, so you can choose when you go back and when your lunch break ends.
Yeah, exactly. As long as the boss is happy with that. But
well,
he's a bit of an annoying bastard sometimes. So
ain't he just?
Ain't he just?
Anyway, let's crack on to the news. Okay, so something I didn't see coming at all. Ireland back row CJ Stander is set to retire at the end of the season, according to the BBC.
Really? BBC again. BBC again. Hot off the press, mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wasn't didn't see that one coming. I to be fair, I don't know
anything about
how old he is, but
okay, let's just have a look. So, South African-born Stander, he turns 31 next month, has earned 50 caps, played 150 times for Munster. I hereby publicly announce my retirement from all forms of rugby.
Wow.
Said Stander in a lengthy statement. Bloody hell. And he's basically said, "You, as a professional sportsman, you will know when the time is right to hang up your boots. It's a sentiment one cannot fully comprehend until the day arrives. For me, that time has come." Blimey. And that was after his victory against Scotland on Sunday.
Well, there you go.
Well, a British and Irish Lion, obviously a Monsterman, and an Irish player, obviously from South Africa. Bloody good player. That's a shame. He's only 31. I was still trucking around at 40. So, what can you say? He's obviously professional, and I'm not. So,
He's played a few more minutes and
yeah, a few more minutes than me. Well,
bit harder rugby than you, mate.
No, I don't know. Some local derbies are quite tough. And also maybe go on.
No, I was just going to say. I suppose now you've said his age, 31. I suppose he's probably not going to be around for the next World Cup, isn't it? So
no, that's fair. That's a good point.
That's probably a factor in the decision, isn't it? If he's at that point of calling it a day, but
could well be, and that's why I keep you on the show, mate, because of that kind of thought and knowledge and processing of information.
Just to bring the top 2 inches as usual.
Absolutely, kudos to you. So just on the island note, so Gary Ringrose and James Ryan are out of the England game. Sad news for them, probably good news for us because they're both decent players.
Yeah, okay.
So
what's that injury?
Injury, yeah. So Ryan was taken off late in the win over Scotland from a head injury, and Ringrose, who has played every minute of Ireland's campaign so far, finished the game, but picked up an ankle injury. So,
okay.
Peter Mahoney is back after his
red card.
So,
right.
Interesting. Not too bad. Other news around the game. The Wales boys are obviously praising Pivac for his coaching philosophy and think that they should continue to do that. Fair play. They're top of the tree and going on for the Grand Slam. Ladies game. Hang on a second. Landmark Global Women's Rugby Union competition launched. Okay, this was 46 minutes ago, so it's literally hot off the press for the BBC. A landmark global women's rugby competition has been launched by the Sports International Governing Body. World Rugby is investing 6.4 in the WXV tournament due to begin in 2023. The competition will have 3 tiers offering consistent international test match opportunities for 16 teams to help them prepare for the 2025 World Cup. Fantastic. Way to develop the game and get the ladies more headlines and more notoriety. Fair play. Sounds good.
Fair play indeed.
Thoughts?
WXV, so women's 15, am I good?
Oh, see, mate, look at that. That's just genius. I was sat here thinking, what does that mean? And you literally nailed it.
I was sort of semi tongue-in-cheek there, mate. I didn't think it was that complex, but...
No, well done. I'm impressed.
So you say that's like a pre World Cup warm-up tournament, basically, is it?
I'm assuming so, yeah. For the 2025 World Cup. So, 16 teams, 6.4 million invested into the ladies' game is fantastic. So,
it's good.
I'm all for that.
It's definitely a game on the up, isn't it?
Absolutely, mate. There's a lot more information about it, but it's too intellectual for me, given the fact that I didn't actually understand what WXV means. So,
better move on then. Moving on.
Yeah, we'll move on. And I think that's probably it for the news, apart from... I know, we'll come to that in a minute. No, that's all the BBC are reporting at the moment, so that's fair play. Anyway, let's move on. Some rugby was played over the weekend. The most latest round, obviously, of the Six Nations. Did you get to watch any of it?
I'm going to be totally honest, mate. Totally honest.
Here.
This standard reply, well, no, probably worse than standard. I don't think I watched. I don't say. I'm not saying I didn't watch any live rugby, but I didn't watch any game live, any sort of full game live this weekend. As you know, I had a couple of 2 big birthdays in the family, so that. Unfortunately, had to come before rugby this weekend, so taking up most of my time. But I've obviously sort of reviewed and watched all of the highlights and extended highlights wherever I could on all the games actually. So some bloody good rugby actually. Right, it was a good weekend for rugby. Shame I couldn't watch a bit more live time, but there we go. It's the way life goes, isn't it?
Well, you'll be pleased to know that I've continued.
You watched it all? I watched everything.
Pretty much. Well, no, I didn't watch Wales and Italy. I chose to watch the Premiership, and I didn't watch Ireland, Scotland, which I kind of wish I had. But again, I was watching the delayed game of the Premiership. So, but let's just start with the game Wales-Italy.
Yep.
Don't really learn a lot from that at all, really. Wales played some nice rugby. They look really good. They're quite clearly on for the Grand Slam. Put Italy to the sword, 48-7. And that's about it, really. Not a great deal you can take from it, I don't think.
Yeah, tend to agree. No big surprises there. I think that's probably what I think we predicted, a sort of that sort of scoreline, as did probably most people. What I saw of that, I actually thought Wales did, although it's obviously against the weakest opposition in the tournament. I thought they did look, like you said, they played some good rugby. They did look pretty sharp actually, and they were quite clinical in the way that they went about the game and the finishing and that. And probably, I think it was the most emphatic clinical performance and win against Italy so far in the tournament, I would say. I don't know whether you'd agree against there. I know it's been similar score lines, but I think just the way they went about it was I mean, the actual performance.
I didn't watch the full game. I was watching Tigers, I think, at the time. We'll get onto that in a minute. But yeah, absolutely. They just, from the highlights, they just, like you say, they look clinical. They look really sharp. There was some really nice interplay between the backs and the forwards, to be fair. And they just took the game, mate, and went out and enjoyed some waffles in Rome, I'd imagine. Let's hope not, eh?
Let's hope not.
Imagine it. So we'll come back to England-France, because obviously that was the big, not to put down the Scotland-Ireland game, but for us the big game was England-France. So Scotland on Sunday against Ireland. Again, I didn't watch this one. I have seen the highlights. I just think Ireland were a lot better in the forwards, in the breakdown, and they destroyed Scotland's line out. But obviously Scotland plucky as ever, stuck in there, and obviously nearly came away with a victory. It finished 27-24. But again, after that initial awesome game that Scotland had against England, the inconsistencies are there again, I think, to see out the big games. Thoughts?
Yeah, similar really. I think it's like you say, the main difference was just Ireland were just that little bit more powerful, essentially, isn't it? In the forwards, I think the line out they dominated, didn't they? And general sort of forward play, but it's just funny, isn't it? Because it's probably almost certainly is their best performance for quite a while, certainly of this tournament for Ireland, and certainly a long way off Scotland's best performance, but it was still very close, like you say, wasn't it? Which exactly. That's almost a positive Scotland can take, is that they are so close to. I know it is like it's easy to say it's just typical old Scotland, but they're so close to actually nicking these games now, where they aren't actually playing as well as they should, but very close to winning them, if you know what I mean. So I don't think it's like I wouldn't. I know some people sort of slating them like Scotland of old and the inconsistency and all that, but results is results at the end of the day, isn't it? So that's fair enough. But I think they're still vastly improved and close to getting the consistency in the results that they're striving for. So it's just a shame, isn't it? I think with Scotland, because certainly after their start to the tournament, they were absolutely on fire, weren't they? They could have. Well, they've missed an opportunity, really, especially with how it's all panned out. But there we go.
I do wonder if that maybe has contributed to, obviously, the France game not playing. Obviously Scotland had a couple of weeks off. I know some of the guys obviously would have played for Exeter and stuff like that, and whoever their contracted team is. But I just wonder if that momentum was lost because of that break in the play, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. You don't know how it disrupts on either side when a game like that gets postponed, is it? And like you say, I think actually that's something that needs a bit more sort of parity. Is it parity going forward?
Yes.
For all the sides, like I know it's contractually different, as in England pay the guys salaries, which is why they've stayed in the bubble and stayed with England and not been released, whereas the other nations don't. So the clubs pay, so they have them back if they want them back, sort of thing, isn't it? But I just think something needs adjusting. Whether you just adjust the fixture list, so you just have back-to-back weekends, and even if you've got a break weekend in the middle or something, but that's it. Everyone who's in is out of clubs for the full time or whatever, or preferably, I think we're going a bit off piece here, but I quite like the global season thing. So you get your domestic season done, and then your internationals, the Six Nations, will happen at the end. Like, then there's no conflict between clubs and international, is there? Yeah, fixtures, yeah. Which is
it's not a bad idea, mate. Maybe we should pen a letter to Bill Beaumont.
I think it's all being chatted over, isn't it? But it's difficult when you're talking about a global season to get it to level out so that everyone's doing the same, isn't it? But yeah, it obviously makes a difference, isn't it? Whether it's a good or a bad that players are not going back and playing for their clubs, or whether they are. Sometimes it can be a good thing, but sometimes it can be a negative. And yeah, so there's definitely the argument with especially the key Scotland guys. You talk like Johnny Gray and Hogg, for example, going back to Chiefs and playing a tough game, isn't it? And the same with Finn Russell going back to Racing, isn't it? So it's a bit different if it's your fringe players, I suppose, the guys who are just having a 10, 15 minutes off the bench for the country. But
yeah, the guys that are there kind of for the main hump of the game. I totally agree. I think it is definitely something to look at, and it always did kind of puzzle me those fallow weeks that guys had to go back and it just it doesn't make any sense. I think if you're just away for that, you're away for it, and that's it. Clubs get on with it.
Yeah,
but we don't make the rules. We don't pay the bills. We can just kind of give our opinion.
Yeah, and
if
they've got any sense, they should listen. Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's get down to it. The game, Le Crunch, England and France at Twickenham. Oh, when France scored their opening try within the first minute, I thought, sacre bleu, we are stuffed here. Absolutely stuffed. They're going to absolutely pump us, but bloody hell. Best performance from England probably since the New Zealand game.
Definitely.
Everything kind of seemed to come together. Everything seemed to gel perfectly, and a fantastic result for them. Some good play. Well, I think I sent out a tweet that it didn't really matter who won or lost, although obviously we're happy that England won. Rugby was the winner today because it was just a bloody fantastic game to watch.
Yeah, I totally agree, mate. Sadly, I didn't get to watch it live, which I would have loved to. Now, obviously, in hindsight, knowing sort of what unfolded and how the game was, but yeah, like you say, it was just two of the top teams in the world going at it, and both playing, not to the best of their ability, but close to it. They both had good performances, and it was hammer and tong against each other, and some really good. Yeah, like you say, rugby was the winner. Definitely, it was just a cracking game of rugby, wasn't it? So to come out on top of that was even better. But especially the way England have gone so far, it's just a shame. Shame we couldn't pull that performance out 3 games ago. Is the only not putting a negative spin on it, but it is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it would have been nice that if we'd started off that way against Scotland and build the momentum into Wales.
Yeah.
Obviously, see Italy away like we would have done, and then that would have been a fantastic. We'd be on for the Grand Slam like Wales currently are.
Exactly.
Do you think Itoje's try was a try? There's been a lot of controversy around this, and the poor old. I can't think of the TMO, but it was the lady. And again, Twitter or social media has come to light and more freaking abuse on the decision, which is absolutely ridiculous. It was a try, without doubt. You could clearly see the ball, the top of the ball touching touching over the whitewash. Try given. Thoughts?
Well, it was given as a try, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a try.
Exactly.
End of game. Whistle gone. Whistle gone. Final whistle gone. Done. No, yeah, I mean, my opinion of it, watching the TMO slow motion replays and everything, is I would have 100% given that as a try. It touched the ground. So, as far as I'm understanding the rules, if the ball touches the ground over the line, that's a try. So,
any point of the ball touches the ground over the line,
or on the line for that matter,
or on the line, correct, or the bottom of the post as well.
Yeah, only the bottom though, isn't it? Now they changed that, didn't they?
Yeah, only right at the bottom. So yeah, I mean, and again, obviously, with all the stuff that happened a couple of weeks ago with Sonia McLaughlin and now the TMO, I just think social media, that's ridiculous. But we're not going to go back into that. You quite eloquently gave your opinion of it.
We can't switch those dickheads off social media, unfortunately, can we? So
unfortunately, no.
It will carry on happening.
I don't think we should beep out the fact that they're complete dickheads as well, because it's just not worth it. Everybody's got an opinion, and everybody can give their opinion as long as they're not abusive. Simple as that. So yeah, an interesting kind of end to the Six Nations next weekend. Are we going to? What do you reckon? Do we think Wales can do the Grand Slam? Are they going to do France? Let's start with them.
They can definitely do it. I think obviously at the beginning of the tournament you would say not a chance, but they've certainly turned their performances and transition that they're going through around in a pretty sharp timescale. They're a completely different team to what they were at the beginning of the tournament. But I'm going to back France personally. I think if it was in Wales, I'd be backing Wales. But just the fact that it's in France are going to be sort of hurting from losing that England game and just wanting to sort of finish the tournament on a flurry, aren't they? And in reality, it's the only chance they've got of winning the championship is to beat Wales, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I haven't studied exactly how, but I imagine it's they have to beat them with Wales getting not even a bonus point, losing bonus point, as far as I know, and then obviously it probably comes down to points difference. So I think France are going to be just gun ho looking to smash them, to be honest. But
no, I'd agree.
But it could be a cracking game.
Tight.
Yeah, could be a cracking game.
So then let's go back in time. So the last game next Saturday is France Wales. We're both going to say a France victory.
Yeah, I think also Sean Edwards is a big feather in their cap, isn't it, for having a bit of obviously, well, just ex Wales. He knows the majority of those players inside out, doesn't he? So that's
mate. 3 times in this podcast already.
I'm on fire, mate. I'm on fire.
I did not even consider that sushi has certainly increased your intelligence levels, no doubt. That's an absolute fair point. Although it is obviously not Gatland, it is Pivac and Jones, so it will be slightly.
Oh yeah.
Sean Edwards is obviously a top.
He knows the players, like their sort of weaknesses and that sort of thing, isn't it? Yeah, he'll know where to attack them. But
yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, if we're doing prediction, France for me.
Good one. Okay, England away in Dublin, I think. Interesting. CJ Sanders, penultimate game. Do it for the lads. Ooh, it's going to be a tough one. I think it's going to be close. If England can perform like they did against France, I think it will be a case of England will take it, but it will still be a really close game. I think England need to take it, really.
What was that?
That was just my work laptop.
I'm
on my lunch break.
I'll be honest, if I was a neutral, I would probably...
But you're not.
If I was a neutral, I would probably back Ireland.
Odd decision.
Odd decision. No, my reason for it is actually Ireland, although I think just on paper England should be beating them, and if they're both playing at their best, England should be winning that game 9 times out of 10. But just going on form and the sort of rhythm of the teams in the tournament, Ireland have been sort of gradually improving and building each game and getting better and better, whereas England have really stuttered, but they've just pulled out a very good performance against France. So the likelihood of either of those teams pulling out the better performance next week is probably going to be Ireland with consistency. But obviously I'm going to back England because I'm English and I really want them to win. And they obviously can. If they do what they've done in the last couple of years and beat them up front and all the rest in the forwards, then it's ours for the taking, isn't it? But it got me doubts. It's going to be tough, mate. It's going to be a tough one.
Okay. I completely understand where you're coming from, and I think it is actually quite a good kind of bit of analysis there on what you've kind of said, and I do agree with it. But I think from a neutral's point of view, I would probably still back England. And obviously, from my point of view, I'm going to back England, but I just don't. I think it'll be a tight game. I'm talking like 6 points maybe in it. Are you back?
I'm back.
Not sure what happened there, but never mind. It's okay.
Not a clue, mate. I'll blame that on being out in the mobile office.
That's fine. That's fine. So yeah, we're basically saying you're saying from a neutral perspective Ireland, and I'm just saying England, but it'll be close.
Yeah, no, I'm back in England, and I hope they're obviously going to win it. But yeah, I don't really know why. I just feeling a bit negative, man.
That's all right.
Even after a really good performance by England, it's just I think it's just because they've gone so long from a performance point of view, just not performing essentially, isn't it? So
yeah.
And that's all well and good if you're picking up the wins all the time. At the end of the day, international rugby it's about winning, isn't it? Even if you ain't playing well on the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
But this tournament, other than the last game, they haven't been performing, and they've lost 2 games, which really you're expecting England with the squad they've got to be winning, isn't it? But yeah, back to me positive cap on again. Come on, England!
Good lad. And Scotland, Italy, the first game of the afternoon in Scotland, in Edinburgh. Scotland victory, I think. I don't think there's much point in mulling over that one too much.
Yeah, Scotland victory. Just be nice to see them, really go to town and place them, because they're almost more than any other team in the tournament, other than France, really capable of playing some open flowing rugby, aren't they? So
yeah, no, I agree. Okay, let's move on to the Gallagher Premiership, just in case we have any more technical difficulties. So Friday night saw the game between Bristol and Wasps. Bristol coming out on top, 37-20.
Yeah,
a bloody good game by Bristol. Looked really good. Wasps.
Just sorry, mate. Just to interrupt before you go any further. Obviously you would have noticed it as well, but international and domestic, some really close score lines, isn't there?
Yeah.
A lot of really close score lines.
A lot of. Yeah, I'd agree. Definitely, it was a really
makes it quite interesting.
Yeah, it was a good weekend for rugby all round, really.
Yeah.
But Bristol I just thought they played a different kind of. Bristol kind of do what England don't when a game plan. They've obviously got their free-flowing game plan, but they turned it on a lot in terms of the two great forward tries by Joyce and Vui. Power up front, but then O'Connor and Adelokun's tries were just something special. Really good. And I think Wasp kind of got a consolation try at the end, which made the scoreline potentially a little bit more flattering for them, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was never in doubt who was going to win the game, but Wasps can probably take a bit of confidence. It's a slightly improved sort of performance, I thought, than they have been pulling out, but still a long way off what you're going to need to beat Bristol. But yeah, Bristol were they're looking good, aren't they? They're, like you say, they're adapting different ways of playing, and they're finding ways of winning ways and grinding out games and wins when they need to, aren't they? Which is
that's sort of the what you would consider a kind of a top performing team would do, really, isn't it? A potential championship team.
Yeah, that's the sign of a good, or like you say, champion winning side, isn't it? Is to grind out wins even when you're playing crap or whatever.
Like Leicester of old.
More like Chiefs of now, I would say.
Of course you would. So that rolls us on lovely to the Exeter Chief Harlequin game. And this was one prediction that we disagreed on. And through the majority of this game, it was looking like I was going to be coming out on top with that victory. But Exeter just sneaked it at the end. I didn't think Harlequins deserved to lose, as you kindly replied to and said, but they did lose. But they didn't deserve to lose. They played some amazing rugby. I just thought they were brilliant. Danny Kerr was majestic. He was just in really good form. Smith was running. Joe Marler was just, I know I've got a Joe Marler thing, but he was literally chopping people for fun. He was just in fantastic form. I just felt that Harlequins dominated the game, but like you said before, Exeter just have that ability to grind out a victory, and it kind of, although it was 3 tries to 2, Dave Ewers scoring the winning one, which I think was something in like the 76th minute.
Yeah.
Harlequins played really, really well.
Yeah, I know we had a bit of banter over it, didn't we? But it's not in any way disagreeing. They did. It was clear and evident. They played some really good rugby, didn't they?
Yeah.
To which a lot of the time Exeter didn't have an answer for, did they? So
no.
But I think really I was just coming out of the jesting that we had, just you saying they deserved to win. It's, I think I said they didn't deserve to win because they didn't win, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I think really what I mean by that is like it's like you say, Chiefs, even though they were under the cosh and losing for a lot, they managed to find a way to get the win and grind out the win, even when the cards were against them and everything was stacked against them, sort of thing, isn't it? Which that like we were saying with the previous fixture, talking about Bristol, that really is the sign of a side who are genuine contenders for the Championship. We obviously know Chiefs are, but I think that's the difference, is if Quins really want to be challenging to win the league, not just end top 4, but actually be challenging Chiefs and Bristol, the likes of Chiefs and Bristol, then these are the sort of close games.
They've got to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd agree.
They let the win go rather than sort of sealing it, if you know what I mean. That's
yeah, no, that's fair. I can, on reflection, I do get what you're saying.
But they played some cracking rugby, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. And then Bath at Newcastle, nice victory for Bath there.
Dominant, mate, dominant.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean Newcastle got a penalty try at the end.
Yeah, just made the scoreline look a bit more in their favour, didn't it?
But absolutely, I mean Bath just looked fantastic again. They kind of started how they did against Chiefs the week before, and obviously managed to kind of continue that throughout the whole game, and just looked really good. So
yeah, I mean I'm a lot more comfortable about Bath than I was 4 or 5 fixtures ago, but hopefully they've sort of turned the corner on the the bad start that they had, and seem to be, I think, improving every game. This I think that was, performance wise, that was the best of the season for Bath so far, just because I wasn't expecting. I'm not saying they were dominant for the full 80 minutes, but as the game overall, they were dominant. There was never I didn't think there was ever a moment from what I could see that they were going to lose that one. And going away to Newcastle, that's quite impressive for anyone to do, isn't it? Because it's a tough place to go, isn't it?
Absolutely, totally agree. It's a really, teams just lose up at Falcons, don't they? It's a tough place to go to, like you say. So yeah, no, absolutely, credit to Bath on that one. Hats off to them.
Yeah.
So that puts us
top four side.
Won't go that far. But that puts you ahead in the kind of prediction stake, which is fair enough. But one we both got totally wrong, Northampton against Sale. Northampton came out on top 17-14.
Yeah.
Didn't see that one coming.
No. And I think probably not many people would have. I mean, Northampton played well to win it, and back to some of the really good attacking rugby that they were playing sort of up until the last fixture or two, where they stuttered a bit. But definitely didn't see that result coming. But again, very close, wasn't it? But they managed to clinch it.
And I think, not that Sale would have wanted to have lost, but to get the losing bonus point away at Saints, they got something out of the game, which is important. I just thought Sale obviously went behind quite early, I think, if I remember rightly. And obviously had to come back into the game. I didn't think at one point they were going to, they were 8-0 down at half time. And I did kind of think that maybe, they were going to come back to win it. But absolutely fair play to Saints. They dug in there and took away the victory, which is good.
Yep.
Makes it more interesting. And then Tigers against Gloucester.
Yeah.
Another victory for the boys away at the Shed at Gloucester, or wherever their place is called. Can't think of it now.
Gloucester, Kingsholm.
Kingsholm, that's the one. 3 good tries. old Tigers boy Slater scored against his old team. Happy with that. I'll take that.
Yeah. I can't remember actually. Did I go for Gloucester on that one just to annoy you?
Well, you probably would have done.
It was close though. It was close. Like as in final result and scoreline, it was close, wasn't it? I think overall, I would say Leicester had more dominance than Gloucester, didn't they? They definitely didn't dominate for the whole game, but Gloucester, played their bit in the game. It was quite a good contest for most of it, from what I could see. But obviously, Gloucester dominated that little bit more because they managed to get the win, didn't they? It was good. Definitely a good away result, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, I agree. And Wigglesworth, I think, has been a bit of a master signing. Definitely, I know we've said it a few times, but I just think he just brings that overall control to the games, the interplay between forwards and backs, when to go, when to throw it out wide.
Yeah,
he's just a class guy.
Yeah, especially like we've said before, when you got 40 away with international, isn't it? So you got at the moment Zach Henry, isn't it? Youngster, inexperienced. It's like we've said before, it makes such a difference having an experienced 9 inside him, isn't it? To guide the game, or help him guide the game, or whatever, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I agree. And that brings us on to Sunday, the final game of the week, London Irish against Worcester. Irish came out on top 20-17. Another good win for Irish, but Worcester certainly made them work for it come the end. I mean, Irish were 17-3 up at half-time, so literally in the second half, a bit of a role reversal.
Yeah.
With Worcester kind of coming through and, getting back into the game. Yeah.
I think we said it was going to be close, and it certainly was close, wasn't it?
It certainly was.
But yeah, fair play Ireland for hanging on and seeing that one through, because I thought that could have easily gone either way. That one, the way that game went, Worcester played very well. But I think it's probably just the fact, the sort of form and the run of results, isn't it, that probably was in Irish's favour, because they are just generally on a better run, aren't they? So
yeah, absolutely.
Managed to see that one out. But good game though. Another close one and well contested.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching it on Sunday, I have to say. It was good. It was good to watch. Okay, let's just move on to next week's predictions then. Starting on Friday night, Newcastle are at home to Wasps.
Newcastle at home to Wasps.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go Falcons.
Same.
I think they're playing just a little bit better than Wasps at the moment.
Yeah.
Nice to be agreed.
Agreed. I'm not going to comment any more than that, I don't think, mate. It's Newcastle win for me.
Newcastle victory. So, good first game up on Saturday. Worcester Warriors are at the Rec. Well, if Bath play how they did the last 2 games, I would say a Bath victory. But I would definitely be worried about Worcester and their ability to attack the line and create the space to they just don't convert the tries. Who Hard's playing quite well. Yeah, I'll still say Bath.
Yeah, it's Bath all day, mate. Bath all day. Be hugely disappointed if Bath slip up on that one. Just if it was 5 or 6 fixtures ago, then I wouldn't be so disappointed, because you'd be half expecting it. But they shouldn't be losing that one.
No, that's a fair comment, mate. Definitely a few weeks ago, I would definitely considered Worcester more than. Are you actually doing some work at the same time as this?
No.
Okay. I was. Gloucester go to Harlequins. Quins.
Yeah.
Quins are at the steep. Quins will want to bounce back. I can see that being actually a bit of a kick in for Gloucester.
I don't know. It might not be. Could run close. It depends how Quins respond, doesn't it? Because that defeat and nature of the defeat to Chiefs could sting them a bit.
Fair play.
But still, yeah, Quins win, definitely, I would say. Definitely. It's rugby.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. And then the final game on Saturday, Tigers are at Chiefs.
I think the question is, the Tigers get anything out of it?
I think Tigers win it.
You having a laugh?
No, I think.
Mate. Look, I know you support Tigers, obviously, and I very much respect your loyalty as a fan. But I think you might have genuinely got a bit deluded this season. It's Chiefs every day, mate. That one.
Hang on. 2 weeks ago, Bath went to Chiefs, and you were like, "Yeah, Bath are going to win." I didn't say nothing.
No, but I think I might have worded it. My head's saying Chiefs. I'm fully expecting it to be a very tough day, but I have to back Bath because it's the Bath boys.
No.
That's slightly different. You genuinely think you're going down there to win?
Yeah.
Okay, mate. Fair play. Well, you got a chance, mate. It's rugby. You got a chance.
Who knows, mate? You wouldn't have thought Northampton would have beaten Sale.
Exactly.
You know, apart from me, I thought Harlequins would have beaten Chiefs, and they pushed them. So
fair play.
See who's smiling next?
Yeah, it'll be Chiefs, but fair play. Chiefs will be smiling, mate. Chiefs will be smiling.
And then Sunday, Bristol at Northampton.
Oh, Brizzle.
I'm going to go Bristol. I think it could be quite close again. But yeah, I think Bristol. And then Sale, the final game, are at home to London Irish.
Oh, Sale. Both of those could be quite tight, actually.
Yeah, they both could.
Yeah, you could see Irish sneaking that one, and you could see Northampton sneaking the Bristol game. But I'm going to put my money on Bristol and Sale.
That's fair.
What about you? You've agreed? Have we agreed on?
No. We've agreed on pretty much
from Tigers,
apart from Exeter. Yeah. So that's nice. That's good.
I mean, that means we're going to get them all wrong, probably.
Yeah, more than likely. So you're obviously sat there thinking that I'm not going to talk about
fantasy rugby, and you're right.
But no, hats off, mate. Fair play. You are now 501 points ahead.
505.
505. Oh, the important 5. Sitting quite pretty at about 132nd in the whole competition, I think.
Is it?
Is that right? Are you? I think something around along those lines. Let's just have a quick little look. You are exactly 132 in the whole competition.
There we go.
So that's not your highest position, there was it? There was one time you were really high. Not this season, but
a few seasons. Yeah, I've been in the top 10 before.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah, that's a one-off, I think. But
yeah, interesting. Sam Simmons didn't score this weekend, I thought.
Yeah, I would drop him personally.
Yeah, I think I'm.
Sell him.
Okay. Well, I could get a few more players, couldn't I? Anyway, listen. You're obviously at work, and I'm supposed to be working, so let's leave it there. Thanks again, mate, for coming along as ever.
Thank you, mate.
And you're more than welcome, and we'll catch up again soon.
Cool. Have a good week.
All right, buddy. You too, mate. Take care.
Catch you later. Speak to you next week.
All right, buddy.
Cheers.
Bye. So that brings episode 24 of the Top 2 Inches Rugby Podcast to its conclusion. Thank you very much for downloading and listening. Once again, I've noticed that we do seem to have more listeners, which is fantastic. So thank you for taking time just to listen to us ramble on and give our opinions and views. Obviously, we are available on all platforms such as YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify and Anchor. And we are on Twitter, the cesspit that is Twitter. So go over there, give us a follow at Top 2 Inches RP. And you can obviously get each episode dropped into the stream every week. Just to say thank you once again to I Spy Surveys for continuing to sponsor the podcast. Fantastic company, as I mentioned earlier. And if you like what you're hearing, come in next week for episode 25. We'll be back. Take care, and we'll see you soon.